features from around the country on RTÉ One now from our Cork studios on Nationwide with Fiona MacCarthy.
Hello and welcome to Nationwide. We're here in the Stole, the literary capital of Ireland, and we've lots of culture on the programme for you this evening. The movie-making bug bites here in North Kerry. The Crolly doll makes a comeback. Behind the scenes in the Coláiste Ghaeilge. We've some brief stories from around the country. And our focus on FÁS combines theatre and the GAA. Ireland has always held an appeal for Hollywood filmmakers as far back as the 50s, with films like The Quiet Man and Ryan's Daughter, and more recently Braveheart and The Devil's Own. But amateur filmmaking without the benefit of Section 35 has been alive and well here in Moyvan and in the North Kerry, West Limerick area for a long time. He's an undertaker and a headstone maker, but in his spare time, Leo Finucane is the Cecil B. DeMille of Moyvan in County Kerry.
I'm involved in filmmaking with the last 20 years.
Are you Jack Dunn?
I am indeed.
My name is Nell Murphy. I'm from West Kerry.
The film we're making at the moment is about a servant girl. She leaves a family of 13 in Dingle. She's in Dingle. She's living there for the last 20 years, and she leaves looking for a job here in Cool West RTÉ. She answers an ad in the paper, and with the result that she gets the job here from a farmer, and she sees very hard times here in RTÉ while she's here.
I did so, and the work was very hard back there, Jack.
Hard Times is the 5th video Leo has made. They're all rooted in his native area of North Kerry and West Limerick, and the videos are sold locally.
I wrote the script myself. I got the idea from being involved in farming all my life and seeing how hard it was years ago. It is much easier today, of course, with tractors and everything, but that time they did see hard times, and I love to keep that alive, the old ways of farming and the old way of life, you know. The scene here today concerns the settled people and the travellers in a camp in the 50s, 60s, thereabouts. It involves some of the travellers and the settled people in a row over scrap iron. Hold it, don't kill each other. There's 50 more rounds of that to go.
There's a cast of 50 voluntary actors taken mainly from the RTÉ drama group. They film about 3 nights a week and on Sundays when possible.
I am in drama in RTÉ for the last 6-7 years, and I do act, and that's mainly why you asked me, I'd say.
And does it take a lot of commitment? Why do you do it?
Oh, I just love it.
On stage, in the plays, we'll say, you do your whatever, your 1.5 hours in one shot, and you have to have it right there and then, because of the fact that if you make a mistake yourself, you continue on anyway. And this is totally different. And the different part about this is like that we're after 3 or 4 weeks of a break now, and we're back today, and to get back into the character again straight away.
I do the makeup, props, clothes, anything that needs to be done really. And I'm also taking part in the film. I'm the next door neighbour. I'm after the land as well, you see. But it's not a very big part, which is great fun.
Some of the younger actors aren't quite so enamoured with the process.
Come this side all together, look.
It's too hot and we're very near the fire.
And some are totally oblivious.
Kerry's own Spielberg has no designs on Hollywood yet. He does intend to keep up the filmmaking, but he'll hold on to the day job.
How many of you remember the Crolly doll? For years she was a favourite of little girls. Sadly though, the Crolly doll became the victim of cheap Far Eastern imports, and the Donegal factory where she was produced closed down. But a few years ago, the Crolly doll made a comeback, and she hasn't looked back since.
The original Crolly doll made her debut in 1939, named after the little Donegal village where she was made. The local post office was the main export point for the dolls, and Crolly soon became one of the best-known doll factories in Europe. Small, soft-bodied dolls dressed in traditional tweeds and woolens were the first Crollies produced, and in the 50s the Crolly doll joined the age of plastic. But so too did many others, and cheap imports from the Far East saw the market decline for the Donegal dolls, and eventually the factory closed down. But the Crolly doll has made a very successful comeback. It's nearly 3 years since Iris and Bob Shields revived the company in a new Coláiste Ghaeilge factory not far from the original plant. They started producing 6 dolls and have expanded their range to 16, including full porcelain-bodied dolls primarily for the collector's market. Delicately crafted from start to finish in-house, the original idea for a doll develops into individual sculpts of the various body parts.
This is the warrior's arm sculpt, and this is made from clay. It's modelled, and it's modelled to proportion, and from this sculpt then we make a mould.
Jim Shields then pours a porcelain mix into each mould. This one is for one of the company's newer dolls, an old man.
After 2 minutes you pour it out again, and what's left is a skin on the inside of the mould, and after half an hour or so you can remove that from the mould, and that gives you the head.
It comes out of the mould and it's wet. It's left for 3 days, and it changes from this colour grey to this lighter colour. At this stage it's left then to dry for 3 days. Then it goes into the kiln and it's baked to 717 degrees for 6 hours.
It takes about a week to complete a doll. In all, each piece is fired 3 times and goes through several cleaning and smoothing processes to ensure a perfect finish. And only then are eyes inserted and wigs attached. Sculptress Claire Montanini is the person who does some of the most delicate work on the dolls.
I think their attraction is that they're not cutesy dolls. They're unusual. You don't see very many old men with wrinkles as far as dolls go. He's one of the best sellers.
Was he a challenge to work on when you started on him first?
He was. I worked from lots of photographs of different old men, and I'm quite pleased with him.
The old man is partnered by an old woman, and he recently took a prestigious award at the International Ceramic Art Association competition in the United States, a great boost for the company, which has geared its newest products principally for the American market. With each doll sold comes its own story.
He's Padraig the net mender, and there's a story comes with him that he's mending nets for going fishing off the coast. There's the chieftain of Inishowen, Hugh, and he's basically a Celtic warrior. And we have him as well. We have 2 babies, one with open eyes, one with closed eyes. We also have a doll we're doing for a company in California, which is based on a lady's granddaughter, and we have her modelled and she's ready for production now.
While the old man is catching up, the biggest selling Crolly doll is still Éireann the Irish dancer, dressed in handmade clothes.
It's green velvet, embroidered and lined with green satin, black tights and black shoes, buckles.
Does it take a long time to do a little outfit like that, particularly with the embroidery?
Probably with the embroidery and all, about an hour and a half.
7 people are now employed full-time at the factory, and 12 home workers produce hand knits for the dolls. 2 more people will join the staff by the end of the year when the premises is expanded and includes a museum and coffee shop. Positive proof that the Crolly brand has withstood the test of time and is once again becoming a household name on both sides of the Atlantic Ocean.
Various impressions of summer colleges or Coláiste Ghaeilge have been to the forefront in recent weeks. Nationwide went to the heartland of the Connemara Gaeltacht to meet students, past and present, teachers the once notorious Banatee, and operators to find out what really happens in a day in the life of the Irish colleges.
The romanticised images of hot summer days, sea and sand, are all used to sell the hundreds of Irish summer colleges throughout the country. We visited 2 such colleges to find out what life is really like for the students.
Well, I believe that the student has to be happy with the course that they follow, and that they have to be given confidence in that they can speak the Irish language, and they come here and they notice that this language is a living language and that they can partake in the language even though they might have only a small command of the language coming here. So they're given a good language background, and naturally they follow on that in school, and they understand the improvement when they go back to school. So that gives them confidence, and I think from that confidence the Irish language is improved.
If you're really stuck with the English, like, they will actually help you out, and the Cuntors and the Kinnery out the Muncho are there to help you, you know, and you won't be sent home for saying 2 or 3 words spare, like, you know. You learn the Irish and have a crack as well, and you're never going to forget it, like, never ever forget it. Nobody will keep coming back if it wasn't. Yeah.
Is it true that you make friends for life?
Definitely. Yeah. I'm still friends with people from the first year that we came here. I'm still writing to them, still talking to them over the phone, even though they mightn't be here, like, I'm still friends.
Coláiste. I live in the Midlands, so obviously I love this place to see. There's lots of crack, it's fun, there's teaching, speaking Irish most of the time. It's everything, I love it. I've made a lot of very close friends, typical first kids, first romance and anything like that. It's just friends mostly, and crack that I've had over the years. I love the sports. In the evening then we have different things going on depending on which evening it is. We have Tréisio Cultúrtha, we have Celtic wrestling, drama, music, guitar classes, and then other evenings we have disco, Saturday night we have disco, and every other night we have Cayley.
Cahamid díú stachar na himachtaí bhfuil spéis ag daoine antar agus caham, well, is siartá an seach an mála Coláiste Ghaeilge agus níocim se go léon chaibhlint idir a bheith baint taithne bheits imachtaí agus taithne bheits siar agus a bheith labhairt na Gaeilge. There are basically 2 objectives to the course. One would be to facilitate a substantial improvement in the levels of spoken Gaeilge, and secondly would be to provide an enjoyable holiday in a safe and stimulating environment for the students who attend the Coláiste.
Not all of the benefits are confined, however, to the colleges and students, as the annual influx of scoláirí to parishes throughout the Gaeltachtaí has taken on a very great importance to the local economy.
Not only students come and they, of course, they add to the economic life in the area, but also parents visit, friends come to visit, and there is, I would say, big turnover of students who, after leaving the course, return to holiday in the area because of their experiences and the enjoyable experience they have while staying here, while attending the Coláiste Ghaeilge.
I'd probably be shot if I said it was a great money spinner, which it's not. It's not. But with having big numbers and such, you know, you break even. With regards to the satisfaction, I would say you have it both ways. Sometimes it's satisfactory and sometimes it's not. It depends on the child that you get.
And yes, you do. You have the last week, you have the crying and the sobbing and the not wanting to go home, and maybe halfway through the course you have this breakup of this big romance, and this boy could start going out with one of the other girls in the house and it can cause a lot of tension. But I think it's as it always was. It's still, and a lot of people I think have their first romances when they come to the Coláiste Ghaeilge. And I think that's one of the things that stays with them forever. You know, and that's why they remember so vividly, I suppose, their time here.
And as for the past pupils themselves,
with the Irish language I had a great experience. In particular my Banatee hadn't a very good experience, but in general I think they did their job well.
Well, the people were very nice. The language is difficult, but we had a lot of laughs.
I think it's fair enough as long as the
as it's reasonable and someone doesn't have to say, pardon me, instead of Coláiste Ghaeilge for burping.
Now from Listowel we go around the country for some brief stories.
History was made in the Curra Cadet School this month when the first ever commissioning of Zambian cadets took place in Ireland. The Zambian government has a long tradition with the Irish Defence Forces, sending the best of their potential young military officers to this country to be trained. It was a long haul, 21 months, but it was all worthwhile, as the 72nd class of cadets became second lieutenants and received their commissions, their swords, and swore allegiance to their respective presidents and countries.
The friendship between Ireland and Zambia has been there for a long time now. And as usual, a friend indeed is a friend in need. So we come here for assistance, especially training, military training, so that you enhance our military productivity.
The commissioning was a day mixed with happiness and sadness, and the Zambians leave a country which on arrival they found cold and strange, but as time went on embraced its tradition, its culture and its language.
Do you think you'll remember your Irish? I would say we might make a few errors on the parade square now with a few Irish commands here and there, but we won't have as much opportunity as we had here now.
The Irish Minister for Defence, David Andrews, said he would like to see the military relationship between the two countries continue, but no date has been announced for the arrival of the next contingent of Zambian cadets.
The marriage of a GAA club and a modern theatre provides the focus for our FÁS community project this evening. Tom Maguire has been to the Midlands and the Longford Slashers complex.
The FÁS Midlands region straddles the Shannon, comprising of the counties Longford, Westmeath, Roscommon, Laois and Offaly. The organisation has been closely involved with the local community in Ardagh, Ireland's tidiest town, while in County Westmeath, Loch's distillery in Kilbeggan has been almost totally restored with FÁS support. St Mel's Cathedral has dominated the Longford skyline for over a century, but in its shadow, a novel drama is being played out today.
Listen to this, Bottomley, the famous call of the jungle. See how she braces herself against that rock. See how she raises her cupped hands to her mouth. We're about to hear what no white man has ever heard.
These members of the Backstage Theatre Group are rehearsing in their £1 million theatre that is part of a GAA complex. Built originally in 1980, the Longford Slashers GAA Centre has grown and developed over the last decade and a half.
Well, the voluntary element has always been good in Slashers, but we would also like to acknowledge the very great assistance of FÁS. And FÁS schemes have been very much a part of this clubhouse since it was opened in 1980. For the last 15, 16 years we've had schemes, and we're very proud to be acting as sponsors for the various schemes.
When Nationwide called, over 140 children from all over County Longford were on the field practising their hurling skills.
Well, the complex here in Slashers was ideal for us because with that number of kids involved, we needed the use of 2 pitches plus the dressing rooms and everything like that, you know, so there wouldn't have been any other facility in Longford that would have suited this number of kids.
With over 12 acres of sports fields and an entertainment and recreation complex worth more than £1 million, day-to-day organisation is vital at this facility.
I look upon the FÁS project as something similar to a football team. We have 15 people on this first project. Now, I would be the captain, but each of them is equally as important as I am, and each of them has this equally as a role to play. And if we're not all pulling our weight like a football team, we're not going to produce the goods at the end of the day. But we have a very good community spirit here, and all the FÁS workers participate to their full.
This is a view echoed by members of the Slashers team, those who are on schemes or who have graduated to full-time employment at this complex.
We're all FÁS workers here. There's, on the theatre side, there's roughly 8 of us employed. We brought all our own talents to the theatre, but likewise, FÁS given us the opportunity to work here. FÁS has done tremendous work, and we're all very grateful that FÁS was in existence to give us this opportunity to work here.
I had a fair bit of experience of lighting and sound. I came from a non-technical background as stage manager, but I picked up technical knowledge on the road, so they needed a stage manager and technical manager here, and they gave me a buzz.
Well, I was out of work for about 6 months, and I looked for a scheme that would put me back in bar work again. And I found there was a scheme going here, so I joined it. And after the scheme was over, then they kept me on full-time. And it's been great to get back to work again full-time. It was awful being out of work, and you were looking everywhere, and there was nothing coming up. But just to get your confidence back and get back into the stream of things again, it was great to get a full-time job again.
We took up, along with the Longford Slashers, a FÁS scheme here to sustain the theatre as a viable entity and to keep it functioning. Of course, our own group still do and always have done provided voluntary work in terms of ushering and manning the box office as need be if there is a very busy part of the season, like, you know, in wintertime the schedules can be quite hectic. So because of that, like, the FÁS people cannot always attend. They do have a limited number of hours that they can work in any one week. So our voluntary people help out there. But then the theatre has its own voluntary staff to draw on as well. But of course the FÁS staff are really the people that we've had to turn to right from the very outset, and without them this theatre wouldn't function in any shape or form.
In Longford, they've scored with the union of the alehouse and the playhouse, the stadium and the stage.
The marriage has worked very well. The two really gelled together. And the GAA club are very good to us, and hopefully we're good to them as well.
Well, that's all from Nationwide for this evening. On Monday, Kate O'Toole will bring you the programme from the Galway Arts Festival. Until then, from all of us in the Nationwide team, good evening.